Tim.
And I'm Kieran.
And this is the Odd
Pod.
Comedy Podcast.
Oddpod Comedy Podcast.
Oddpod Comedy Podcast. And the point of us being here today is to talk about what's happening with local comedy here in Townsville, brought to you by the Townsville Comedy Generation.
That's right, but we don't just look at local Townsville comedy. We like to have a look at the broader issues in our Townsville community, as well as some issues from overseas.
That's right, Kieran Lyon. We've got a few big issues to talk about. Probably the first one is about cigarette butts.
Yes, cigarette butts, really big problem. Apparently turning our streets into Harlem. We got that story from the Bulletin. We're going to have a really close inspection of it.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, though, but we're also talking about USA and reusing condoms.
Yeah, that's right. The CDC has issued a warning to people not to use their condoms more than once.
More than once. Well, hopefully we can wrap up that topic and really go through it. And also we got to talk about masturbation.
Yes, my favourite topic. Apparently, masturbating more than 4 times a week is bad for you.
Bad for you.
Bad for you. Not good.
But yeah, so studies have shown if you're masturbating more than 4 times a week, you've got some sort of problem. We're fucked. But anyway, We're going to move on. And throughout the show, we've also got What Would Jenny Do, where she tackles the big topics brought to you by our listeners and our viewers. So stay tuned for that one. And also we got a guest.
Yes, we do have a guest today. Tom Grizzly Cameron. He is... got one gig under his belt in comedy, and we're just really going to pick his brain about what it was like, why he got into comedy, if he's going to continue, and his whole process, what he thinks about it.
That's right. So what we're about to show you is Tom performing at the Kerwin Tavern. We do it the first Wednesday of every month, so make sure you rock up. But guys, let's see what Tom's got.
So society's pretty fucked, right? Look around you. But I find it funny when you turn the telly on and you watch the news and the first thing he says is good evening, and then proceeds to tell you why it's not. You can't assume anything these days. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, could be a transgender chicken. You know the world's in trouble when people's idols are people like Kim Kardashian and Nicki Minaj. If I can learn one thing from them guys, it's to not let my complete lack of talent stop me. Also, don't be afraid to suck a few dicks to get where you're going.
Comedian. They come and go. They come and go.
Tom Cameron!
Hey,
Tommy!
Here we are with Tommy.
Tommy Grizzly Cameron.
Tom Big Grizzle.
Indeed. Oh, Grizzle, my Rizzle. Mate, how are you? Look, that was a good set that we've seen you do it. That's your first time up on stage. How was that?
I bloody well loved it, mate.
Okay.
You know, I was incredibly nervous before I got up there, but once I got up there, it was all right. You know, I loved it.
Cool.
It was nothing better.
Was there anything that you weren't expecting up there? Like
A lot of people to laugh at me.
Yeah.
You know, look,
And they did. You got a lot of
they
laughs.
did. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it.
So Kieran's yet to experience that.
Yeah.
One day. One day.
You'll get there one day.
And I guess was that the biggest fear getting up on stage? Like you're putting all your time into writing this crap, and you're like, you probably throw away your best stuff, thinking no one's gonna laugh at that.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest relief when you got up there?
Well, when people laughed and I got off and people were congratulating me and telling me how well I did, I thought that was great.
Not many people get off on stage, so that's actually quite good to hear.
Well, I did.
Yeah. But, talking about that, look, we were talking about masturbation, Kieran, is that right?
That's right. We're looking at masturbation. Apparently more than 4 times a week is bad for you.
I wouldn't listen to those sort of people. You don't need that negativity in your life.
Exactly right. 4 times, geez, you have to be like an eunuch or something like that to not be able to masturbate 4 times a week. Like,
They're rookie numbers, bud.
That's rookie numbers. Jeez, I've worked with people that do that in work hours. Like,
one day.
That's smoko, lunch, pre-lunch, and that's just like 4 times. Jeez, how much tension would you have built up if you didn't masturbate 4 times a week?
I'd probably explode.
That's the point of it. But look, I think we've given that topic a good shake-up. And look, there's something else interesting that's happening in news lately. I think Tommy, of all people, was the one who told us about this, about condoms in the USA.
Yeah, so the CDC have released a statement telling American people to stop reusing their condoms. But I think it's probably best they're using a condom at the first place, because if they don't, then they breed and...
More Americans.
Yeah.
Well, that raises the big question. Like, if they stop reusing the reused condoms, obviously they're going to have less STIs, which I think they need more of them in USA for population control.
Get some more AIDS in there.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely need AIDS with their population control. Not that we're anti-American at all. Go America. Trump, you're doing a good job. But what do you think, Kieran? Do you reuse your condoms?
Well, obviously I did before I found out that I shouldn't do.
So the statement is working.
Yeah, so now I'm well,
excellent.
I'm going to have to spend all this money now. You know.
No, that's alright. They're only a few bucks at a survey.
Was it like a disposable razor? Like, was it 3 or 4 times before you'd stop using it, or?
Yeah, it's probably, a few dozen times.
Yeah, this is over. So it's a period of over 3 or 4 years of condoms lasting before then.
Yeah, well, I think it's actually a scam.
Yeah, okay.
I think the CDC is actually in conspiracy with condom manufacturers.
Right,
and they're trying to get people to use more condoms.
Yeah.
So that, condom manufacturers make more money.
And I believe they've had a recall on Durex condoms as well. And we hear of recalls with cars because, lately airbags have been going off in people's faces. Why have they been recalling condoms? Like, have they been going off in people's faces?
Absolutely.
It takes a while to realise that your product's not working. Would it take about 9 months or so? Like, how do they know that they've got a faulty product? Is it further R&R in development? Like, who would be in that lab?
A lot of weird people.
Yeah,
A lot of weird people are going to be in that lab, bud.
Oh, wow.
How do they test them?
Well, that's a good point. Like,
Well, obviously the amount of idiots breeding in America is going up. So they're telling people to, stick it to single-use condoms, because when you reuse them, they break. And then they breed like friggin' rabbits.
I like you said single-use condoms as opposed to...
Well, this is evident of it.
And, I don't think it's that bad, because... Well, they're making an ant out of a molehill, really. A mountain out of a molehill. Jesus! But, we've got reusable shopping bags. That's a big thing. You've got to have reusable shopping bags. Why aren't we caring for the environment and creating reusable condoms? I think the Americans are 2 steps ahead.
There's probably a market for that. Organic, reusable...
Maybe we could get nanas to knit us.
Well, hippies are already pretty filthy as it is, so they might as well be not surprising us by reusing their condoms. But let's move on to something a little bit more classy than that. Look, we're going on to our topic. Look, we gave
That's a terrible segue, because the the next news item is ciggy butts are being littered everywhere. Apparently, in Aikenvale, a lady has complained to the Townsville Bulletin that. The cigarettes have been littered everywhere, and in her words, it's turning the place into Harlem.
Gee,
No, I wouldn't believe it, man. I've sat in car parks for long enough to know that a couple of the locals come past and pick up the cigarette butts, but I don't know why it's a problem.
Yeah, and to be honest, is she angry because people are loitering there and picking up the cigarette butts? Is she annoyed that people are disrupting the ecosystem of cigarette butts that they've already got in this neighbourhood? Like, what? I don't get that article, because basically it's the Centrelink's gone in there, and now there's an influx of people picking up cigarette butts.
Yeah, never once have I seen a bird building a nest out of cigarette butts, so don't know.
I actually have seen that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I just want to hear you elaborate. How does a bird build a nest out of cigarette butts?
Well, I twist them all together.
Okay.
Obviously, these are fresh cigarettes, so you get a lot of length.
How the hell is there fresh cigarettes sitting on the ground in Townsville without a freaking person getting to them first?
Birds are quick.
The early bird gets a cigarette.
But anyway, look, that's talking about how obviously birds can create new habitats for themselves with cigarette butts. Very serious topic. But while we're talking about things serious, let's find out how the community can be helped out, how we can give back to our listeners with our next topic.
Now it's time for a segment we like to call WWJD, or as Tim and I say,
What would Jenny do?
Dear Oddpod, I have met the girl of my dreams, and we are in love. My problem is, I'm a strictly missionary man. I'm worried that I won't have the sex skills to keep her. What should I do? Help me, Oddpod.
Thank you very much, Laurie Malfoy of Pimlico, for sending that through to us. And look, let's find out, what would Jenny do?
Revitalise it, reposition it, put all these areas under the microscope.
Rightio, we have another WWJD, and this one's actually sent in from the law. This is from, well, we can't say his real name, so we're just going to say Officer Plod. Yeah, you know Officer Plod.
I know Officer Plod. He's a good man.
Officer Plod, yes. But the question is, Dear Oddpod, I'm a local police officer. I'd love to know what more I can do as a member of our community. Please help me, Oddpod. And how do we help? We ask someone. What do we ask? What would Jenny do?
Get up, walk the streets, go to Kelso, go to Condon, go to Derrigan, go to Heatley, so you can hear their voices.
Thanks, Jenny. That was awesome.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But next, 3 questions without warning. Are you ready?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So, obviously you are a motorcycle enthusiast. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very fair.
Yes, I am nothing but fair. Knowing this, and how dangerous riding motorcycles can be, you must have a really massive passion for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say is the best performance in Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ?
I don't know. I didn't watch it because it's at the bottom of my interests.
Jesus is at the bottom of your interests?
No, but Mel Gibson is.
Okay, well, we're not
That's
gonna...
really fair.
That's really fair.
That's really fair.
And we're not going to nail to the cross with that one.
No, I would.
You're not going to get crucified for not seeing that film.
No. You know, what kind of Judas would we be to really vary on that one? But let's resurrect it and talk about our next question. Now, as we said, you like the danger of riding a motorcycle.
I like the motorcycles.
You like the excitement of making people laugh.
Yes.
Good. If you're in a white room with no people, just yourself, and you have to choose between a Komodo dragon and a cassowary, which one are you going hand-to-hand combat with, or hand-to-paw combat with?
Oh shit, that's a big question, because the Komodo dragons have got like some sort of toxic saliva, and the cassowaries would kick the fuck out of anyone.
What would you do, though?
I think I'd fight a Komodo dragon.
Okay, explain.
I think.
Why?
Well, because cassowaries are really quick. Komodo dragons probably aren't as quick, and I don't know if they can climb a tree, as a cassowary can jump into.
There's no trees. It's a white room. We established this.
It's a white room. Right. Well, probably I'd go the cassowary then. They only got a slim jawline, a skinny little neck. You'd be able to hook that thing once. And
They got a solid rock on their head.
yeah, but their neck's pretty feeble.
Mm-hmm.
Feeble.
That would be my choice. Good answer.
Mm.
Okay, Kieran.
Well, the next question is
It's a
quite striking. Are you ready,
I'm ready.
Timothy?
Well, for generations, this debate has been ongoing. And
There's no end in sight.
no end inside. It's ugly. It's one side that's right, one side that is wrong. The thing that matters is what side do you choose.
That's a little bit biased there, Tim.
Alright, I'll tone it down. People are dying. No, people aren't dying. Oh yeah, I guess in the long term they are dying.
They
when you look
might,
at it.
yeah, well...
But, we'll get to the question. It's serious. But anyway, if you had a choice between Pepsi and Coca-Cola, what would it be?
Shit, I really don't know the answer. I like both. I drink both.
Wow. Maybe the...
But I seen the other day a lobster had a Pepsi can imprinted into one of its claws.
We don't give a fuck what lobsters like.
I do.
Okay.
That's the difference between me and you.
Okay.
I care for lobsters.
Okay, cool. Well, there was no clause in our conversation about this, but Coke or Pepsi, let's get back to it.
Look, we'll go Pepsi Max because it's the underdog. Go
I'd expect
Pepsi.
a biker to back the underdog. And look, thank you very
and he
much.
certainly has.
Yes, he has done a great job. And that's something that Jenny couldn't do, is answer our 3 tough questions. And that's what you should vote for Tom Cameron. Tom Grizzly Cameron is your next mayor of Curl.
I don't want to be the mayor of Kerwin.
There is too much to be done there.
Tom, that was 3 questions without warning. And can I just say, you handled it very well.
You're really good at handling rough things.
Moving on.
We got Khalid Kalafala on the 14th of September at the Herbert Hotel. Prices are $15 online or $25 on the door.
Here we go.
That's right. You do have to pay for these tickets because this guy's a pro. He's been all around the world. So make sure you're at the Herbert Hotel to see it. And plus, we'll have a few local guys there to make you laugh as well.
That's right. And what else have we got, Tim?
Well, thought you'd never ask. We got Hump Day Comedy at the Kerwin Tavern. So it's close to all our hearts. First Wednesday of every month. We have a large display of local comics there. It's all free. Plus, it's cold beers, great meals. Make sure you get down to the Kerwin Tavern. And plus, they've got an extra event which they've just started with at the
That's
Kerwin
right.
Tavern.
Every Monday night, they have trivia on at the Kerwin Tavern, hosted by our very own Chris Irvine.
That's right. Chris Irvine's a very short comedian. Extremely short, but he is funny, and he does ask very good questions. So make sure you're there for the trivia. Get a team together. Get involved.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we got through that, and make sure you're there to see Chris Irvine. He's the Shetland comedian. Well, let's just move on. Look, that's been a great show. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thanks, Tom.
I appreciate it.
Good to have you. Thank you.
Appreciate it, mate.
Cheers. Thank you very
Cheers.
much, and see you next time.
Thanks.
Tell you what, Tom's beard raised a lot of questions. A, do you think your beard will be as good? And 2, which one of you two have the weaker jaw?
Actually, we can never know, because, we'll never see that because of our beards, but I could really only ever hope to have a beard as good as Tom's. I don't think I will get there. Where'd your beard go?
My beard, it left LSD. Shit.